James Corden, arsehole. Gavin and Stacey, give me attention. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. You may be aware that the television programme Gavin and Stacey is coming back. Yes, the programme that was liked by many people a number of years ago is returning for its last ever episode on Christmas Day. James Corden, arsehole, is making a reappearance. Show creators James Corden, arsehole, and Ruth Jones shocked the BBC sitcom's millions of viewers last week with the news that they have written the final episode. The pair reunited in secret to pen the special after recently denying another episode was in the works, nearly 5 years after the last episode aired in 2019. Pausing there. In other words, James Corden, arsehole, realised, I've come back to Britain after the United States finally cottoned on to the fact that I'm a twat. And I've come back to the United Kingdom, and rather strangely, I found that nobody's offering me any work. I can't understand why that would be. I don't actually need any because I've made lots of money duping the Americans. But nevertheless, I'm such a fiend for fuel. I'm such an attention whore. I need the world to know about me. And therefore, this is a very miserable state of affairs for me. So what I'm going to have to do is contact Ruth Jones and say to her, let's write another episode of it. We all know that the real talent behind Gavin and Stacey was Ruth Jones and her writing, and that James Corden, arsehole, just essentially played a fat bloke that was mildly entertaining. Taking to Instagram, the pair shared a black and white photo of themselves holding up the script. Alongside the post, they wrote, "Some news. It's official. We have finished writing the last ever episode of Gavin and Stacey. See you on Christmas Day, BBC One. Love, Ruth and James." Fans expressed their joy at the news under James and Ruth's post. Among those sharing their delight was Rio Ferdinand. Great, we really need to hear from that tool, don't we? Who wrote, "I'm clearing the diary." Other celebrities, including Gordon Ramsay, John Bishop, Fern Cotton and Amanda Holden, all shared their delight. Joanna Page, who plays Stacey, reshared James and Ruth's photo to her Instagram and wrote, "Oh my God, it's happening, so excited. Last ever Gavin and Stacey. Christmas Day at BBC One. Can't wait to start filming." Joanna also shared a statement with ITV's Loose Women that read, "I'm very excited for the return of the Gavin and Stacey and can't wait to come back on and tell you all about it." The actress also revealed she can't wait to find out what happens next on the BBC show, as she doesn't know what happens after the 2019 Christmas cliffhanger when Nessa proposed to Smithy. Speaking on Off the Telly on BBC Sounds podcast, Joanna said, "I'm so excited to see the gang again and start filming, and I can't wait to find out if Smithy has said yes. I can't wait to find out what's happening to everybody." Matthew Horn, who portrays Gavin, seemed excited for the reunion as he reshared the snap of Ruth and James holding the new script. He wrote, "Happy Christmas." So the show certainly had many fans. And many people want to know about what happened on character Bryn's notorious fishing trip with his nephew Jason, which they both refused to speak about, which is a long-running joke on the series. What is interesting, of course, is that this was a show that was loved by many. And then James Corden, arsehole, disappeared off to the United States. Became even more of an arsehole as he revelled in the wealth that he was accumulating and the exposure that he received. He must have a fucking good agent, that's all I can say. With many people mystified as to why he got the gig that he did. And, of course, then more reports coming through about his behaviour, showing his narcissism. See parts passing, of which there also includes an excellent roast of the arsehole. But what is quite clear here is that he has returned to the United Kingdom and found that nobody's interested in him. And that, of course, is fatal to the narcissist. Notwithstanding the fact that he's made a considerable amount of money which he can live on comfortably for the rest of his life, that he's able to purchase a large home, and he could just spend his time relaxing, spending time with his children, etc. That's no good for the narcissist. He needs to be acknowledged. He needs to be noticed. He needs people to respond to him. And given that basically the United Kingdom wasn't coming to him saying, we'd like you to star in this, we'd like you to do that, he's had to go back to something that essentially had been ended 5 years ago and resurrected. Not that many people will mind, because it was a hugely popular show, and they'll be delighted that there's going to be a further episode of it. I've seen excerpts of the show. It's not particularly my cup of tea, but there's plenty of people who do enjoy it. But what's quite clear is that this has only come about as a consequence of James Corden, arsehole's, need for fuel. He wasn't minded to do anything about it in the years that have passed since. Whilst he was in the United States, it would be easy enough for him to have resurrected writing duties with Ruth Jones, to suggest that it's done. He could have done it in between the other shows that he was doing, but he had no interest in doing it. Why? Because the self-absorbed twat was focused on himself as usual, that he wanted to make a name for himself with the Late Late Show, with his carpool karaoke, that he didn't give a rat's ass about any other members of the cast of Gavin and Stacey. They were irrelevant to him. But as soon as it becomes apparent that the job offers aren't coming forward for him, that actually the United Kingdom isn't interested in him, he can't stand that, and no doubt has stamped his porcine trotters for the purposes of demanding that he get something, and it still isn't forthcoming, and therefore he has had to go back to old ground. Now, whilst many people will say, I don't really care if that's the case, I like Gavin and Stacey, I want to watch another episode. That is entirely fair enough. But it is demonstrative of the fact that he's not done it in order to please people. He's not done it for the purposes of allowing people to enjoy a program that they once enjoyed. He's done it for him. Naturally, he'll portray it as saying, oh, we wanted to finish something that was left dangling. But that isn't true. It's been left dangling for 5 years. The only reason why he's returned to it is because he wants the recognition. He needs the fuel. That the United Kingdom isn't really that interested in him. So he's had to resort to something that was pre his departure to the United States and when he became particularly unpopular, in order to try and resurrect some sentiment that's favourable towards him. But am I just the hardened cynic that is the narcissistic psychopath that is H.G. Tudor? Am I misreading the sentiment of all of these Gavin and Stacey fans who are besides themselves with joy that James Corden, arsehole, has returned to these shores? Well, let's find out below the line to find out what they've got to say about the reappearance of this show and James Corden, arsehole. Willow T states, tidy. Can't stand James Corden, arsehole, but he is brilliant at Smithy, and Ruth Jones as Nessa is one of my all-time favourite comedy characters. Marie F. Loved this show, but not keen on James Corden, arsehole. Araya 1. This has made my day. Tidy. I heart Sherlock. Nope, I must be the only person who doesn't find him funny in the slightest. Right Blue responds, no, he's always been unfunny and a useless actor. Was in a series called Teachers some 10-15 years ago as a school kid. Fat then. Somebody else responds to that observation. Nope, you're far from alone, writes Lucy Liu. I want to move adds, no, you're not. Ruth Jones, Alistair Steadman, Larry Lamb, Rob Brydon, the Welsh lady were the stars of that show. Pigeon Street, each to their own, but I agree with you entirely. Accordingly, not many friends and fans there of James Corden, arsehole. Sky Green asks, now that he has tested the Hollywood waters, I wonder if his acting attitude will be the same as before. People liked him before because in the programme they could relate to him. Not sure now. Susie, In other words, the unfunny, jobless, arrogant James Corden arsehole is needing attention. Picking up on the vibe as I have described. Street sweeper, my thoughts exactly. As it is, Americans have had enough of him, so he now needs to work again. Peter on Truth, nice of Ruth Jones to help an out-of-work comedian find employment. Alfie's dad, never watched it first time around, not keen on James. Max UK, the one thing that ruined it last time was the totally talentless, unfunny, lardy James Corden arsehole. I know no one likes him. Ever. So how come he became popular in the United States is one of life's mysteries. Sassy, can't wait. It had better be a happy ending for Nessa and Smithy. Sammy2024, more James Corden arsehole. How annoying and utterly boring he is. Model misbehaviour. I only saw a couple of episodes due to peer pressure, but I never really got the appeal. In the Mind. Who on earth cares? Do people actually watch that drivel? Corden, arsehole, should have stayed in the United States, but they didn't want him either. No talent, just being loud and obnoxious. The Good Reverend Honk. It's the one thing everyone's dying to know, whether Corden, arsehole, is going to ruin it with his very presence. He's not the same guy everyone knew pre-America. Well, it seems that the sentiment is very much looking forward to the show, but not very keen on James Corden arsehole, which only goes to show that when his narcissistic behaviour was exposed to a wider audience and greater press scrutiny, that people who didn't like him because of the way that he behaved and what they saw were validated in that view as a consequence of the further behaviours that have been described in parts passing. But what's quite clear, people don't like him. They don't like him because of his behaviour as a narcissist, and furthermore, what is also evident is that he's only done this as self-serving, self-absorbed behaviour for the purposes of trying to gain attention, i.e. fuel, because nobody else has been interested in him since his return to the United Kingdom. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.